So I have a little story to tell everybody. It happened last Saturday night or early Saturday morning. I'm not sure how you want to look at it, but there was an update, an upgrade, an improvement on roto-grinders. Yeah, there's still a few bugs to work out, and not quite everything is as smooth as we're expecting. But fortunately, we're going to have this all done in the next few days. It'll be shipshape, ready for you guys for football season. College football 3 weeks away, pros 4 weeks away. There was some preseason action. I didn't watch any of it. I heard this guy named Johnny Smith, Johnny Mason. I don't know. I heard he's playing. He's pretty good. And then I was sad that I forgot it's Johnny Football, so I didn't watch him. And then I was sad because the site wasn't doing what I wanted. But then I woke up this morning and it was a new day. Do you know what day it was? It's Sunday Fun Day! How you doing, Andrew?
Doing pretty good. Hold on. All right, yeah. Still got my hearing.
You gotta do that. You just gotta keep people on their toes. Come on, it's fun. It's Sunday. It's fantasy sports. We're enjoying ourselves. We got a lot of games. I mean, you Darvish, we paid up for him last night. It was okay. It wasn't that good. Brad Penny, we weren't on him, and he was actually good, even though he hadn't pitched for 2 seasons in the majors. What are we gonna do today? Are we gonna dance between the raindrops and go with Johnny Cueto? Maybe chance a little Clayton Kershaw? We can't have 2 premium pitchers suck in the same weekend, can we? Or TBD. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of options at starting pitcher today. Kershaw is really priced up across the industry, so it's going to be hard to squeeze him in there and get all the bats you want. It's going to be impossible to get all the bats you want with him in there. You mentioned the rain in Cincy. Cueto looks like a great option today if it weren't for the weather. He's priced down. His upside is pretty similar, maybe obviously a little bit lower than Kershaw. But, yeah, I think you got other options besides that. You have your Alex Cobbs, Tyson Ross. You can go on down the list, even Danny Duffy. You have Alex Wood tonight, which I saw there was rain in that game too. It's going to be fun and should be interesting to see how people do their starting pitching today. What are your thoughts now? Are you leaning towards pulling Cueto and going Kershaw, or which way are you as of right now?
Yeah, as of right now, I've gone through and I've pivoted off, and I didn't mean to say that word. It's stuck in my head. I have reversed course, and I am no longer sailing on the SS Cueto. I am back to Kershaw, Clayton Kershaw. He's pretty good. Milwaukee, Miller Park, tough place to play, but Kershaw, clearly the best pitcher we have seen in some time. I can't believe he's even dominatingly gotten better from his dominating season. It's amazing. So I was going to go mostly Cueto today, and I had about a quarter of my lineups with Kershaw. I have now flipped that, and I'm ready to jump off more. I want to see more what the weather is going to do. I'm worried that there's going to be some rain coming through, and it's going to be enough to at least pause the game. Now, I think if it's only 20, 30 minutes, the pitchers are going to be fine. But if it's longer than that, I don't want to roll the dice. And I had a rougher day yesterday, so I would like to perhaps mitigate the risk in some fashion and go with Kershaw. I also like David Price. Is there anybody left outside of Joey Bats for Toronto?
Yeah, I noticed Valencia is hitting 4th, I think, today. That's all you need to know. I mean, here's a guy that couldn't get any playing time in KC, so sure, he normally hits lefties well, but I don't know that he should be hitting in the 4 spot anywhere, really.
Yeah, so I don't mind Price. Danny Duffy, I think, is a sneaky guy. He's averaging over a K per inning in his last half dozen starts. His price is down there. He's going against San Francisco, who they get the DH, but do they really have a player to put in the DH spot? I don't know. And then we've got Charlie Morton taking on the San Diego Friars. It's a little Sunday fun day there for the Padres on the road in Pittsburgh. Well, it's going to be Sunday fun day for Charlie Morton. So that's kind of who I'm looking at. I keep glancing over here at my list, but those are the main ones I've got. Again, very disappointed in Cueto in that weather. If it changes, I've got lineups ready to flip-flop. But as of this time, as I mentioned, I'm down to about a third of my lineups only with Cueto.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea for now. I kind of wish Kevin worked on the weekends so we could get a better weather update than trying to do it ourselves. But hey, that's the way it goes. As of right now, I think I'm with you. I'm gonna minimize my Cueto exposure until I see that it gets better, or I think there's a chance that he will pitch, a normal amount of innings. So I'm with you on Morton. It's not somebody I wrote up or even really had listed, but I don't hate that play. There are a ton of options in that range that I think are solid options today. That either are secondary pitchers on like a site like DraftKings or GPP type plays on a FanDuel or whatever. So I think we're pretty good on pitcher today.
I would agree. I'm looking here. I want to see when is that Arizona lineup going to come out? That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that one because I am really looking at Pacheco. So I want the Rockies and Diamondbacks lineup to come out. It's unfortunate that it is a 4-10 game, and those are two of the teams that are usually the slowest to get out their lineups. Now, on our sponsor DraftKings, it's not as big of a deal because there is a late swap. But over on FanDuel, I was really liking his $2,200 price that is for Pacheco. So if he is not in, everybody else I have is higher, and that was the unfortunate thing. When I had Cueto in, I was rolling with Jason Castro. I don't mind Evan Gattis tonight, who should be in the lineup against Gio Gonzalez on Sunday Night Baseball. So I don't mind putting him out there even on early lock games. But it's tough because I've gone to Kershaw now. I'm playing kind of suicide squeeze. Who are the other min priced catchers you would be looking at today? And then are you willing to pay up for anybody?
Yeah, I think today we have a ton of catching options, and if I'm going to go lower, I'm going to go to Voit for the A's. But I think there are a ton of options up top. You have Rosario, who's probably my favorite catcher on the board as long as he's playing. You got Gattis. You mentioned Castro and Gattis, both in play. V-Mart, where he's catcher eligible, in play. Mesoraco in play. So you have a full list of guys that are actually really solid plays at catcher. I don't know that you need to pay down at catcher today. But if you do, I look towards the A's catchers. That's what I normally do. And today they face Phil Hughes. It's more of an ideal matchup for them, especially with their prices. So for me, I'm paying up where I can, and if I'm not, I'm going with the A's catchers.
All right. And do you think all three of them will be in the lineup today?
Yeah, I'm going to put all three in the one catcher spot. It's a cheat code that I'm using on FanDuel today. So.
Excellent.
Is there somebody that we might have forgot that is playing the Cardinals today?
Is some guy who's magic? Somebody who's on a Griffey-esque like tear, 5 home runs in 6 games? Yeah. Caleb Joseph, 2 first names. Everybody loves 2 first names. How has the Baltimore series been for you? What's your experience been like?
Yeah, you trying to get me to cry on TV here?
I was going to say, I'm waiting to see some tears.
No, it's been bad. Lackey pitched really well last week, and I was pretty excited about that. Then he goes and has his worst game since, 2011, I think they said. So not good. And Milwaukee and Pittsburgh are both playing decent, so it's not a good time to play like this, or pitch like this especially. So hopefully they get it straightened out today.
Yeah, I've been having those games on in the other room because I'm in my office, but I don't have a TV in here. I got it in the big. I can't really fit the giant TV in my office. It doesn't work that way. But I've been listening to all the games, and I swear to God, on Friday, every time I turned around, somebody was hitting a home run, and I'd have to run out of the room and go look at the TV and come back. I got a lot of workout in there.
Yeah, I think
that was a subtle dig. Did you feel that? I'm trying to cut your heart out with the rusty spoon here.
Yeah. It was 6 home runs. It was every time you looked away, they were hitting another one. Just not fun. The 2 pitchers that we bring over from the AL, playing the AL team, you think maybe they'll be able to handle them a little bit better. Not so much. Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah. Well, it's okay because on Friday, because I had that game on, I wasn't watching the Nats because they were kind of doing a Cardinals impression on Friday. At least they won yesterday. But one last thought before we dive on into first base, because we want to transition to Albert Pujols. He had a home run last night in the 19th inning. What a marathon game. I heard you stayed up and watched the entire thing.
I didn't stay up and watch the whole thing, but I was still up when he did it. So I had it on the MLB app. So I was watching it, but I didn't watch the whole game. It just happened to be on and heard the volume, so I figured I'd check it out.
Yeah. I was in bed, so because I'm old. Let's see. So first base. I am going relatively cheap today, and again, this is just fine because it's a function of getting Clayton Kershaw into my lineup. Now that we're iffy on the weather. I haven't gotten all the way off of Cueto yet, but we'll want to look at that a little closer. Our biggest fear is rain coming in probably about the third or fourth inning. If it lasts for more than a half hour, we'll have some trouble there, and they may not come back, or the pitchers may not come back. It's only going to be passing rain. The game will get in. It's just a matter of how long the delay may be. So, Crush Davis, 3 home runs in 5 games. He enjoys hitting against the St. Louis Cardinals. And just so you don't think I'm playing favorites, Matt Adams, lefty-righty matchup, Kevin Gausman. Talented, just not quite harnessing it these days. And if you want to go cheap, Jonathan Singleton, Mark Krause, depending on the site. Some sites he's outfield, some sites he's first base. They're going against Nick Martinez. Hopefully he doesn't pitch like Yu Darvish today. Oh, wait. Or does he? Or doesn't he? I forget. Anyway, pick on Nick.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of Astros out there today, and with good reason. He's been horrible, so I like both of those. Matt Adams' price continues to be priced down pretty much across all sites for whatever reason, and he just keeps producing. So I like that play, especially at his prices. You got Miggy Cabrera where you can fit him in. If you're pitching Kershaw, you might not be able to. Another guy that's kind of mid-range in some spots is Lucas Duda. I really like what he's been able to do against right-handed pitching. He gets Kyle Kendrick today. Looks like it could be a good one for him. And then somebody I want to see if they're in the lineup is Adam Dunn. If you're playing on DraftKings, don't have to worry about the strikeouts or the outs. Has home run upside. They are playing in Seattle, I believe, so that is one downside, but I like him as a lower option. Outside of that, I think we've pretty much covered everybody that I like.
All right, here's a quick update. Krause, not playing. Bummer. That's bummer. That's okay. I still like Singleton. And Chris Carter, he is first base eligible on some sites. What do you think about him in a righty-righty?
Yeah,
power, a lot of power. He double dong night.
He's the guy that I get so aggravated because he's right there on the edge of where I want to play him, but his price just never seems right. And then, if you look at his stats, he's right up there with a lot of the other big names we throw out there every day. I can't remember the exact tweet, but there was a tweet the other day comparing him to, I believe it was Chris Davis. I can't remember. It might not have been Davis. But the stats were heavily in favor of Chris Carter, and then you look at ownership every night, and Chris Carter is almost never highly owned. I mean, today he should be in play, but we won't roster him for whatever reason. It's a guy, like you said, he has double dong potential. He showed it the other night. He's done it many times before. I think he's up in the 25 range for home runs this year. I don't know the exact number, but sure, why not? It's probably time for me to start paying up for that guy.
All right, speaking of paying up, what about Jose Abreu? He has a lot of home runs.
He does, and he gets Erasmo Ramirez, who's not that great. So, yeah, Abreu, Dunn, I like them both. The downside is it's Seattle. But if he gets it, it's going to go out anywhere. he tends to hit a couple of those, or a lot of those line drive home runs though. So I don't know how much that goes into play unless he's pulling the ball. So the problem with him is he costs a lot, and I like Miggy at the same price range.
I was going to get to that. Miggy, 3 home runs since July 1st. Is something wrong?
It's a good question. I don't think so. It happens, right? It's baseball. There's a lot of variance. Believe it or not, I believe in streaks. That players get in cold streaks just like they get in hot streaks. I mean, just think about this. A couple years ago, Dan Uggla had like a 30-plus game hit streak, and now he can't even find a team to play for. So it is what it is. I think he's proven that he's a consistent hitter over time. So I'm going to keep plugging him out there. He's not going to turn into, he's not going to be out of the league in a couple years.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anybody else. Oh, Kenny's Vargas, Minnesota, batting cleanup. 2.2 over there on FanDuel. There's your get Kershaw in play.
Yep, actually, not bad. Punt. I don't like to punt.
You don't like to punt?
I don't like to punt first base. That is, especially with like guys like Adams and Duda. Some places you got Dunn. You got guys somewhat in that range on most sites that, for me, are more proven than him. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just would like to see more before I start punting with him.
So you'd rather have him as a utility spot?
That's not a bad option.
All right, and then that was my last guy. Very sad. Again, very sad news about Mark Krause. Unfortunate. Ooh, speaking of sad news, did you see that Tony Stewart dirt track accident?
Yeah, I did.
Vehicular. That's not going to have a happy ending for. I mean, my God, it's a tragedy, but that didn't look unintentional.
No, I was up late last night and it was blowing up on Twitter, and I normally don't watch that kind of stuff because I don't know, I just not into that. But I clicked on the link not knowing exactly what I was looking at or going to be watching. It's kind of disturbing if you did watch the video. The kid's just laying there afterwards, and you could tell it wasn't very good. It's hard to tell intent, especially a dirt track. There's different, I'm not an expert by any means, and the video kind of panned away right at the time, right before the moment of impact. It certainly doesn't look good. Everybody else the other cars were able to get around them, so I don't really know. It's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. On to more pleasant thoughts. Pleasant thoughts. Second base. Second base I'm going to spend today. I'm looking at 2 guys. Robinson Cano. Yes, it is a lefty-lefty matchup, but John Danks, not the best of lefties. And Cano can be sneaky. I think he has something like 15 home runs against lefties over the last 2.5 years. That's not bad. I mean, it's not like he's a terrible hitter. He's, second in the majors in average. So we can't complain about that. Oh, I think almost half his games this season have been multi-hit games.
Yeah. Cano's one of those guys where you can play him versus left-handed pitchers, especially if that guy's name is John Danks, who has like a 350 WOBA against left. I remember back when I started FanDuel, I'd start him against certain lefties, and I just get blasted in the FanDuel chat because what are you doing starting a lefty? And people just didn't realize that Cano actually handles lefties at above average clips. So if you get a bad lefty on lefty matchup, why not? His ownership's going to be lower. I certainly don't mind that play at all today.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good differentiation play in head-to-head matchups. Ian Kinsler's the other guy I'm looking at. I just want to read the numbers. This is his triple slash line. 308 batting average against lefties, 377 on base percentage, and 511 slugging percentage. Now you would think that those are really good numbers. Those are his career numbers. We can't lose sight of that. He is freaking amazing against lefties.
Agree 100%. Who else you got at second base?
That's it. I got 2.
Okay.
2 Utah. 2.
Okay, yeah.
Who's that from? Come on, we gotta get some pep in your step.
2 Utah? Man.
It's a
I
movie
don't know.
about surfing.
Is it what's his face from? Whoa, dude, that guy. What the hell's his name?
Keanu Reeves,
Yes.
Johnny
Is
Utah.
yeah. Is it Keanu Reeves? Yeah.
It
I
is.
don't. What's the name of that movie? I don't even remember.
We're gonna let chat tell us. It'll be more fun
Okay.
that way.
All
All right.
right. Well,
We'll wait for
moving on.
45 seconds. So let's do another player before we get back to it.
Yeah.
So
My second baseman are Pedroia, Cano, Rendon's not bad if you're not playing Wood tonight, and then you got Ian Kinsler. I think you pay up at second. I agree with you.
although there's a pun out there, I didn't realize he was second base on several sites. It looks like Stephen Drew. Nice.
Yeah, I noticed FanDuel actually did that, which I was surprised. They've been updating somewhat. They update the positions way faster than they update the salaries. That's for sure. So he's not bad there. Point Break, of course. I should have known that.
Patrick Swayze. It's an awesome movie. It's good.
Yeah.
By the way, I am by no means endorsing Point Break 2 that there's rumors is coming out. That's like making a Roadhouse 2. Like Red Dawn remake. You just Patrick Swayze, just perfection. Don't mess with it. Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights just wasn't there for me. But nobody puts Baby in a corner.
That's right.
We're gonna use that as our segue, Andrew, to the hot corner.
Okay. So today, I've got a couple of guys I like. I like to be a homer. I'm going to say Matt Carpenter. I don't hate that play. Evan Longoria seems like a good play. And then you get to a guy that I really like a lot when he's facing left-handed pitching, and nobody else seems to be on him the majority of the time, and that's Chris Johnson tonight in the Sunday night game. And then, of course, you got Adrian Beltre facing the lefty in Houston. So I like that as a play, too.
And Todd Frazier, just a monster. 16 of his 20 home runs against same-handed pitching. He's going against another bad Brad Miami Marlin pitcher. I think we got to look at Todd Frazier.
Yeah, he's hitting right in the middle of the lineup now. Him and Mazzaratos tend to be the big the guys that provide the most production for you out of that lineup. You can go with Hamilton from time to time, but out of the Reds lineup today, I think Frazier makes the most sense.
I'm just reading the chat talking about Point Break. It's awesome. Roadhouse is better than Point Break. Roadhouse is probably the best movie of all time.
Yeah. I have heard of Point Break. I just couldn't think of the movie. I don't know if he's not talking. He's probably not talking to me, so I should just shut up. Yeah, I'm way behind on chat, so.
All right, last Roadhouse bit of advice: watch it on DVD. It's on TV all the time. All the good stuff is taken out of it. If you actually watch the DVD, it is like watching a whole new movie, and it's just there's plenty of goodness, if you know what I mean. All right. Anybody else at the hot corner? Evan Longoria, Longo Dongo. I'm on board today. I really like your mentioning Chris Johnson. I actually earmarked him for tonight's game because that game should get in. Gio Gonzalez is not pitching well. And Chris Johnson, people are going to be off him for whatever reason because of his early season slump. He's actually turned it around quite a bit, still hitting lefties very well. I'm endorsing that play. It has the EMac seal of approval. To that, I toast.
Yes. What is that, Diet Pepsi today?
It is Diet Pepsi today. I'm
All
out of Mountain Dew, so we're having Pepsi.
There we go.
The wife's off in Miami partying up with her friends and their kids, so yeah, real exciting there. In any event, me and the dog this weekend, we haven't gone to the store yet. And by we, I mean me. So there we are. Shortstop. I'm going to go back to the game yet again. I'm loving this matchup. We got J.J. Hardy and we've got Jehani Peralta. They're both reasonably priced. They're in decent matchups. I think they're hitting in the heart of their respective orders, or at least with protection around them. I'm liking both them. Josh Rutledge, kind of doing a little bit of a Troy Tulowitzki impersonation. Tulo light, maybe. he's been pretty solid. Plus, he's just been awesome against lefties this season. Small sample size, but 360 batting average, almost a 600 slugging. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And then Erasmo Ramirez is going to meet Alexi Ramirez. That is my gut call of the day.
Interesting. Yeah, shortstop's kind of ugly today. When we're, I think Xander Bogaerts needs to be mentioned. The game went really long last night. I think the starters today for both LA and Boston are going to be asked to pitch deeper, even if they get in trouble. So that sets up well for the guys with good splits like Bogaerts. You've got a guy like Yunel Escobar's in play today with this slate. I don't hate him as a play. And then I guess Elvis Andrus, he's hitting up in the order. I don't normally like to take guys against Cucho, but if you are going to take them when they're in Houston, and you get a little bit of a park from most places for the right-handed bats. Other than that, I think you're punting pretty much. You got Drew, where he's still eligible. He's not quite a punt, but most of these guys would be considered a punt on most days. Rutledge is not a bad option. I don't know if I'd call him too low light, but hey, he's playing pretty darn good for being Josh Rutledge. So I think you play value here and move on.
All right, they're mentioning Chris Negron for Cincy. I don't know much about him. Leading off, he's outfield on some sites. I think he might be shortstop on a few, based on what chat's saying. But didn't he had a home run the other day?
Yeah, he's leading off today. That's actually a great play then. I think he's had a couple of multi-hit games. I think he might have a couple of home runs. And he was hitting 6th or 7th in the lineup, and maybe even 8th one night, and hit a home run. So nobody really had him. Leading off, he's definitely a more intriguing play, and I think that's probably where I'm going to go, depending on how bad the rain looks. I think we're going to be able to play hitters in that game no matter what. So, I think that's where I'm going to pivot to.
All right. So now we're getting some great quotes out there. We've moved on to the replacements.
Oh, God. You know what? He just happened to play the same guy. Whoa. And he's a football player. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
He plays the same character in every movie he's ever been in. So I think he's been an Ohio State quarterback in those movies, right?
Well, I don't remember what he was for the replacements, but that has one of my all-time favorite lines in it. Is it Jack Klugman? I don't remember who it is. It's the old guy who's playing the coach that's Gene Hackman's friend. I think he must be the GM, and he says, "I've seen monkey shit fights at the zoo that were more organized than this."
That's a pretty good one.
It's a great visual. It's apropos, and when you're at work doing something and it just is chaos is reigning, you just break that out. You just deadpan that line, and everybody kind of looks at you, and then laughter. It's good. It's good. There you go. Anybody else at shortstop? There's nothing. There's no good shortstops anymore. They're all relatively cheaper, but that's good because we're paying for pitching today, so why try? Let's go with the flow. Let's talk outfield. Outfield. Angels in the outfield?
Yep,
All
we
of
have
them?
Angels.
All the Angels.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, I think so. Their prices are kind of all over the map on different sites. It's weird to see, how each site views each one of those players. It seems like one guy's higher on another site than another guy, and none of them it doesn't really flow the same as most, where like you have Upton and then the other two guys or whatever. It's some sites it's Trout's pretty much the main guy, but I'm talking about Hamilton and Calhoun. What do you do with those two guys? Well, you go based on price, in my opinion. But my favorite outfielder of the day is Justin Upton. What are your thoughts on that?
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Really. Well, I don't know about favorite, but pick on Gio. Go for it. I have absolutely no problem going against him. He has not been playing well. I think Gaddis is great. We mentioned him. We mentioned Chris Johnson. It's logical that Justin Upton is in the mix also. My top guy, Mark Trumbaum.
Okay. He hit a bomb last night, didn't he? 3 runs?
He was the key to my cashing teams last night.
There you go.
I really like his price on FanDuel, 2,800.
Yeah.
DraftKings, he's fairly priced, and it's not a big deal to get him in, and he's in a great spot.
Yeah, Morales is horrible. Good hitters park. Totally on board with that. He's one of my top plays. Going back to the Upton, if you look at his stats versus left, everybody knows that. If you look at him at home, same thing. 400 WOBA, 1 OPS, over 400 and over 1. I think tonight we see a lower ownership with him because it's a late game. They tend to not have as high ownership, and he hasn't been playing as well lately. So just throwing it out there. If you look at the career stats and what he's done this year, even at home and versus left, he tears them up. So plug him in there, folks.
Let's see. Yep, I'm adding him to my newest DraftKings lineup. I'm playing in these Survivor contests. I liked the Survivor contests. They're really fun.
The 7-day $27 ones?
Yes.
Yes, those are fun.
I'm on, I think, day 3 and day 4. I've got 1 entry in each, and we'll see.
Yeah, I had Karma get me the other day. I made fun of Cruising in the forums for crying about missing or bubbling, and then I bubbled the very night on the Survivor. So I learned my lesson there. I'm probably not going to do that again. Who else you like? Do you like Rajai Davis today?
Yes, because it's the soft tossing Mark Burley.
Yep.
And is it somehow revenge, right?
Sure, he played for
I don't think
Toronto.
Rajai has revenge in him. So.
No, he doesn't seem like it, and he's played with a bunch of teams now, hasn't he? Or I could be wrong there. It seems like he has. So I don't know. He have revenge on a few teams. I really like Rajai.
He played for Oakland. Didn't he play for Oakland like 7 years ago or something?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. I don't know where else he's played, but it feels like he's played everywhere. I guess back to the outfielders. What are your thoughts on the Yankees outfield? In my daily plays today, I only put Beltran in. I believe he was the only one that made it into the plays, and one of the first comments was not enough Yankees. I know people are going to target Carrasco, but I don't know that that's necessarily the best option out there. I don't hate the Yankees, but what are your thoughts on them? Am I missing something? Do I need to get Yankees in my lineup?
Yes, you do. I've actually listed all the outfielders: Ellsbury, Gardner, and Beltran. I think they're all great plays. I'm leaning towards Beltran first, and then Gardner, Ellsbury is kind of like what you were saying with Calhoun and Hamilton, just whichever's the better price, because I can't really differentiate between the two of them. But here's the over/under bet for you. Carrasco, 11 outs before he's knocked out of the game. Over or under?
11 outs? I'll take the over all day. I don't think this guy's as bad as everybody's making him out to be. I mean, he's not good. He's not good. I'm not saying he's good.
But nearly a 7 ERA in his 4 starts before getting relegated to the bullpen. He hasn't gone more than he's played like an inning and change out of the bullpen. I don't know if he's stretched out enough anymore to really go more to get to 5 even.
Yeah, I think did he pitch 4 innings the other day? I can't remember. I think he pitched 4 innings the other day. I don't think that was the start. I think that was Tomlin's start. He pitched really bad. Then Carrasco came in. I believe that's how it worked. I could be wrong, but I think he pitched 4 innings the other day. I'll say he gets through 5 innings today. Probably gives up three runs through 5, maybe 4. I don't know. I just don't think he's gonna blow up like everybody thinks he is.
All right, that's fair. We can have differing thoughts. Speaking of differing thoughts, who is more awesome, Yasiel Puig or Yasiel Puig bobblehead?
Yasiel Puig or Yasiel Puig bobblehead?
It's a tough call.
I don't know. Is there a bobblehead out there that's pretty amazing at baseball?
No, I don't know. I was just making it up. I'm trying to riff here. I'm trying to get some excitement back in the show.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. I thought maybe what would be good is if they did a UCO Puig bobblehead night where he's getting picked off. It just he's standing there and he's getting picked off. That'd be great. People would love that.
Yeah, that happens if he. It's like, dude, you're on base. This is the one time you really might want to stay focused. Nah, I got this. Don't worry about it. I'll be on base again next time I'm up. It's no biggie. I'll be back. I don't understand him. Anyway, so Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp. Mm-hmm. Matt Kemp is. I wish I had as much money as the Dodgers. That's all I can say.
Yeah, Matt Kemp has been flying under the radar. His ownership has been really low, and he's playing not quite the MVP Matt Kemp, but he's playing at a top level again at the plate. I really like what he's going to do here in the second half. I like him as one of the top second half players. Continuing, he looks better at the plate. His swing is always going to be a really long swing, so that he's going to strike out. But when he does make contact, it's been solid lately.
Yes, and speaking of cool, good stuff, garden gnomes. Forget about bobbleheads. You need garden gnomes.
I've got a great eulogy voice. That's awesome. I know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so boring. I try to be better or more peppy, but I just don't have enough soda.
It's the secret to life. It's the magic elixir. To be fair, guys, we've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes here at Roto Grinders. You may have noticed there's been some adjustments. They will be upgrades. They will be improvements. There are actually several things we have fixed. There was just a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes last night, so both of us have been up really late. We're up really early, and it was kind of unexpected. So we're dragging a little bit. That's why I didn't go to the store. That's why I'm out of Mountain Dew. I'm stuck with Diet Pepsi today. But 19 minutes left. We're gonna think garden gnomes that we're gonna center. That'll be our inner chi. And let's talk outfielders. For good, for real, for better, for worse. Michael Brantley.
Yes, versus Kuroda in New York. Yep, Michael Brantley makes sense. He's been one of the better hitters lately. People are all over him, though. His price has risen quite a bit on DraftKings, I believe, from where he was, say, a month ago. I think that he's got enough exposure now to where people are rostering him, so it's okay to not play him, even in an ideal situation if you have other guys that you like.
All right, I was trying to find. There's this. Maybe Chad can help me find it. I saw it last night. I retweeted it. There was this great picture of Jason Worth, an army of the little garden gnomes. It was awesome. Darth Vader was involved.
That garden gnome is the best garden gnome I've seen. The Jason Worth one is amazing with the beard and everything. Oh, man. Too much.
I know. I'm sad. I didn't. Well, a couple of my buddies went to the game with their kids so they could get garden gnomes. So anyway, all right. Back to outfield.
Coco Crisp?
Is he healthy? Is he ever healthy?
No, and he always looks like if you watch him play, I don't know how the hell he hits the ball. He's up there moving all over the place. His swing is really funky, but he makes contact. He actually puts the ball over the fence, for a guy his size, more than you would think he would. He's a guy that steals bases. I like him. His price is down in some spots. Where is he at? I think he's at like 3,100 on FanDuel. I like that price for Crisp today. What are your thoughts on Holiday? I try not to talk too much about Cardinals, hoping that other people will. Holiday is a right versus right guy that I like him in the second half. He's almost always finishes around 300 with 20 home runs. And we've seen that. He's starting to pick up the pace with the home runs and hitting the ball harder. What are your thoughts on him against Gossman today?
Absolutely love him. Righty-righty matchups. I think he has all but one of his home runs have been righty-righty matchups, and he is a forgotten player. Now his price is kind of up on a couple of the sites, but he's very, very steady. Takes a walk, gets on base, scores some runs, a little bit of double or home run upside. I like that. Very steady. He's a lot like Matt Carpenter, his teammate. The other guy I'm not playing him today, but I think of is a similar player that he's often forgotten, and now his name is escaping me. The guy who usually bats leadoff for San Francisco.
Pagan?
No.
Pagan?
Pence. Hunter Pence.
Oh, Pence. Yeah, he's a good play today.
Yeah.
Hasn't he been batting? I think he's been batting second most recently.
Yeah, he's been up at the top of the order, and he's another guy that we never seem to ride up, and we never seem to talk about, and he's always a solid play, just off the radar, and I think that's where Holiday is too. So that's the kind of guys I like in my cash games because I think I can get a little bit of an edge where I'm not matching up with somebody, and we're just blocking each other with the same players. That's
yeah, and Pence is a guy. If you're playing Posey, it's a good idea to play Pence too. Their numbers are really close to each other, the metrics across the board. And if you like Posey, you should like Pence, and they hit close to each other. Production, added value when you pair two guys together and they're both producing. You get your run and your RBI, that kind of thing. So I really like pairing those two together. And today's not a bad option. We didn't mention Posey for whatever reason, but if you're not on Duffy today, those two guys certainly are in play.
Yeah, and Posey he's back up to 3,600 on FanDuel. He's not as dramatically overpriced relative to the other options today on DraftKings, but as we're trying to get in Kershaw and or Cueto, I think that's why we're not mentioning some of the higher end plays. But you're right, Posey is in the mix. Let's see here. I'm going to use the Magic Roto-Grinders lineups page and see if there's anybody else that we missed discussing. Jay Bruce, lefty, but it's Brad Hand. Thoughts?
I don't know. He did homer yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. And he is a streaky hitter, for sure. A streaky hitter. He'll go on a run where he hits a bunch of home runs, and then everybody will jump on him and go dead for 2 weeks. So I just think there are other options today. I talked about not even wanting to go with that many Yankees today because there are other options. So I can't imagine dropping down to Bruce on a lefty, even if it is Brad Hand. I just think there are other ways we can go.
How about Robbie Grossman leading off, 3K, switch hitter, so he'll get to play Nick Martinez. We haven't mentioned people against Nick Martinez for the last 20 minutes, so Houston, go for it.
Yep, for sure. Leading off, that's a good spot. The more at-bats you get, the more chance you get for production. It's something that's overlooked by a lot of the newer players, I think, is they'll end up with guys in the 7, 8 spot in the National League. 8 spot's not a good spot to be. You want guys normally 6 or higher. Occasionally, if you're running a stack out there, it pays to have the 7th or 8th hitter because you'll get some variance there. With the ownership level will be down, and he's part of a stack, so you're already hoping that team's going off. So, but Grossman at leading off, I really like that.
All right, Andre Ethier batting 5th, gets the lefty-righty matchup going to get there against Nelson, who, even though he's been bad, his numbers say he should be actually worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really thought Nelson was going to come up and just pitch lights out. Maybe I just overhyped him myself. I don't think really nobody else really did. But I was looking at his stats and how I was projecting him out when he got called up. I was all over him, and he just hasn't lived up to it. I think Gonzalez is somebody. I don't know if we mentioned him earlier. Probably another good play against him. As long as he's in today, I haven't checked their lineup, but Ethier is a good spot or a good player. He's cheap most places. He hasn't been the player. I think he needs more playing time to be that consistent hitter or a better hitter. He doesn't do as well as like a Van Slyke and the fill-in and the platoon player mindset. I guess he just doesn't have it. It seems like his numbers are down across the board. He's still young. I don't know what it is really besides playing time. That's the only thing I can think of.
All right, so 2 more outfielders to consider. Austin Jackson, Chris Denorfia, the newest Seattle Mariners. There we go. Should I point to my Seattle Mariner hat? It's right there. See it? It's that one right there. So, yeah, I forget about the new acquisitions. More guys to pick on John Diggity Danks with, so we like that. All right, we've got 11 minutes left. Chat, queue up some questions. we're going to play a little game that we like to call JETS, 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 Jets. It's a rapid fire max. Are you ready, Andrew?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, I'm not. Hang on, I'm going to call it up. Oh, it's still... Why is the site so slow? The internet is... Oh, I just clicked on rapid fire, and it gave me an NFL option. That means NFL's on the way. There were no players, but the fact that it's in the drop-down is awesome. So, now we are focused. We are ready to go. Alex Cobb. We didn't mention Alex Cobb. We really should talk about him. Tyson Ross. I'm going Alex Cobb.
I mentioned both of them.
Oh, that must have been when I wasn't listening. So, yeah, good job.
Yeah, when you weren't listening, you mean the whole show? Okay. Yeah, I like Cobb. I like them both, actually. But if you're looking at the matchup, who they're playing, Cobb makes more sense. Odorizzi handled the Cubs fairly well yesterday, I'd say. And Cobb's a better pitcher. He had trouble with his command in Oakland last time out, but I expect him to pitch a lot better today, and I'd go with Cobb.
All right. Miguel Cabrera, Joey Bats. Now, see, this is an interesting one, because normally you're going to say, oh, Miggy, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bats, you're into BVP, and I'm not, but if you are, he has some pretty good numbers against David Price.
Yeah, I'd still go with Miggy. It's David Price. I think, there's a history there. They were, where he's faced him enough times to say, okay, maybe the BVP is for real. But with that said, I'll still go with Miggy. The matchup is just better.
All right, Curtis Granderson, Matt Holliday. We got to go Holliday, right?
Yeah, I would go Holliday as a Homer Cardinal fan, but I would say that Granderson's somebody that nobody talks about and could be
leading off today. Yep, leading off today. He's cheap. I actually have him in my FanDuel cash games and on one of my iterations of my DraftKings cash games. So he is sneaky. I'm still going to go Holiday. Melky Cabrera or Todd Frazier? That's a pretty easy Todd Frazier one for me.
Yeah, Melky's played really good this year, but we mentioned it earlier. Frazier's right in the middle of everything for the Reds right now. He has to be that guy. He'll get the opportunities to drive in runs. I think you go Frazier. All
right. Now this is a tougher one. We've got Jacoby Ellsbury going against a starting pitcher that's only going to a last 11 outs, and Rajai Davis.
I'm going with Davis. Davis has surprisingly good numbers versus left-handed pitching. Let me see what we got. Dating back to last year, he's had 250 plate appearances with a 395 WOBA and a 907 OPS. Now, if I told you that Rajai Davis had those numbers, you wouldn't, or you would never guess it was Rajai Davis if I told you the numbers. But there they are. So I'll go with Davis.
All right. So we've got Cobb, Cabrera, Holiday, Frazier, Davis. We were pretty much aligned on most of this. Maybe this is worth playing a rapid fire max.
I think so.
Do that right now. We did it last night, and we got 3 out of 5. But we cautioned and said you should just play the double your money one. So hey, good job if anybody played that. Pick 5, Star Street. Are you ready, good sir?
I am ready.
We have Miguel Cabrera or Mike Trout. I'm going to go Trout.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you here. I think, like I mentioned before, this game, their game last night went long. I expect the pitchers to be thrown to the wolves today, and De La Rosa is definitely going to, or has the opportunity to get hit and hit hard. So I'll go Trout.
All right. Michael Brantley or Josie Abreu?
I'll go Brantley. I like the park better, and I like the matchup better. Or I don't like the matchup necessarily better, but I like the park better. Let's go with that.
Yeah, gotta like lefties in Yankee Stadium. I completely agree. And yes, I know it's Jose Abreu. Just talking, just having fun. The Zorrilla or Victor Martinez?
Zobrist, we didn't talk about him all day.
We didn't talk about any Tampa Bay players outside of Longoria. Bad job by us. We should also mention Sean Rodriguez. Who should?
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't come up, but I'm still gonna go against him on this one.
You're going against him?
Against Zobrist.
Okay. So
I like him. Sorry, what?
No, we're good. Rajai Davis or Carlos Beltran?
Davis. I like Beltran, but Davis it is.
All right, that doesn't get you out of being a homer by not picking the former St. Louis Cardinal that was crucial in some of your World Series appearances.
Oh, I love the guy. I start buying 5 Hour Energy just because of him.
I can tell. I can
Yeah,
tell it's doing.
that's sarcasm, by the way.
David Price or Tyson Ross? Gotta go David Price. I mean, it's
Yes,
a watered down Toronto team.
and his last time out against Toronto, he pitched a complete game shutout, I believe. 8 inning complete game shutout, but still, it's a complete game shutout. I think he only had 6 Ks, which is down for him, but I'll take the complete game shutout with 6 Ks any day. So there's upside for more Ks. Yeah, he might give up a run. I think he'll even out. He'll pitch well. Got to go Price.
All right, so we're going Trout, Brantley, Victor Martinez, Rajai Davis, although I could see going Beltran, so I'm on the fence on that one. I may switch back to Beltran, and David Price. So we'll lock that in. We'll do 15 to win 300. There we go. Let's answer our last few questions here for a couple minutes here. Starting, Den Decker. Is that Vern Den Decker? Vince Den Decker? He's what is it? Matt Den Decker. Batting 6th. 1.8 on DraftKings. 1.8. Lefty-righty going against Kyle Kendrick. I like that. Nice call out there. That is a nice call out. Let's see. We need more Mountain Dew. Yes. I have Pep in my stack. Very true. Careful with the weather in Kansas City. That's a good point. Because we're going old school, it's real hard to get all these browsers open and have them effectively working. And by the way, weather.com, Weather in Motion, has just been sucking lately. It keeps hanging up on my computer, and I know it's not my computer because I'm actually plugged into the router, so I'm not even on wireless. And it just hasn't been working. So, yeah, Duffy is kind of my GPP guy, so I'm already taking the risk of playing him, so the weather's not going to scare me away from that. But just be cognizant of that, people. Duda, horrible BVP, but he's batting cleanup, and I don't care about BVP because Kyle Kendrick is a horrible pitcher, so that outweighs the horrible BVP. And it just
I wonder what the sample is too. What's the sample? Do you know?
It just means that Duda is due. Hello.
Duh.
Oh, nice. See? It's the subtlety. It's the jab that just comes in when I'm not expecting it because I'm off. Ooh, something shiny over there, and I'm distracted. And then you get me. Nice one. Dallas Keuchel. Yeah. Speaking of watered-down lineups, what the hell has happened to Texas?
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't been good all year. Let's check out their lineup while let me pull it up real quick. One thing I would caution, I like Dallas today, but if you look at the stats over the course of the season, the Rangers aren't bad versus lefties. I know he's a severe ground ball pitcher. I just caution, throwing all your money on Dallas today. He's a good pitcher. He's having a good year. He's really found that new pitch. And he's got a lot of success getting the ground ball, but the Rangers have handled lefties a lot better than you would think, and I think he's in somewhat of a bad spot here.
All right, one additional punt play at 1.9K on our sponsor DraftKings. Jake Marisnick going against Nick Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
What is up with the FanDuel pricing? It is all DraftKings pricing. It is all over the place. We've got pitchers for 14K. We've got starting people leading off for 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Free for all.
Well, for me, I think that means we just pay up for Kershaw today and plug a couple of those guys in and then get the normal bats, right? Even if
we have to.
Like Negron, I'm not sure. I can't remember what his price is. He's almost
2.7. It's like, oh my God, he's expensive. Let's go with these guys that are 1.9.
Yeah. Well, I think right there that saves you probably $1,000 from what you would normally spend in that position at least, and then you go with any of those guys that are sub 2. if they're hitting 6 or above, you punt that position, and you're right back to where you need to be with the rest of your players, pretty much, even with Kershaw in the lineup. So I don't really like that it's so severe. You know, you've got guys that are 5K and then guys are under 2K. I don't like that necessarily, but hey, it works out for us today, and we don't have to risk Cueto because of it. So.
Yeah, there are 9 players right now in the starting lineups that are under or 2,000 or under.
How many are in hitting 6th or better? Do you know?
Matt Dendecker is the only one. Everybody else is hitting 7th or 8th.
Okay, and that's against Kendrick, right? Yeah, in Philly. Yeah. So for me, he's probably one of the guys that's going in my lineup. You know, I'll probably play Negron and Dendecker and put Kershaw in and try to get the other guys in. That's what I'm going to do on DraftKings today. It just makes sense.
Indeed it does. All right, well, with that, we are at the 12:30 hour. We have 35 minutes left, so we need to go set our lineups. I need to update a couple tools here on RotoGrinders. Again, we're working through all the issues. Keep listing anything that you see that's off or you're not thrilled with, list it in the chat. And if it's one of the tools, please, a little favor for your old buddy EMac, include a link so I can figure out which page we're talking about and I can get there and fix whatever it is. We have a lot of content, a lot, and it's sometimes kind of hard when you say, oh, the BVP's off in blank. I'm like, well, there's BVP on about 6 different pages here. So
yeah.
Please, we'll work through it. We don't mind. Point all that stuff out. The faster you guys point it out, the faster we'll get it taken care of.
Yeah, and you guys don't really see it, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and we really do appreciate the feedback. It makes the overall experience better. We weren't trying to set anybody back or anything like that. Cam and the guys were just trying to make the site better, for, you know, long term, and things like this happen. At least, you know, it wasn't on a Sunday in football, so just bear with us. We'll get it right, and thanks a lot for all the feedback.
All right, so with that, thank you, DraftKings, for sponsoring the show. Thank you, RotoGrinders. Oh, that reminds me, speaking of shows, 10 o'clock last night, from 10 to midnight, we had one, Dean, Sports Almanac, 789-90210, hosting the Sirius XM show. He was fantastic. I was thoroughly impressed. So I highly recommend, if you've got the SiriusXM, they'll probably post it today or tomorrow, but you can go back and listen to shows on demand. If you don't see it there, go ahead and just email their support, and they'll usually get them up once they get half a dozen support emails, because they don't do on demand for all their shows. But as soon as you ask, they end up putting it up there, because I've asked for some pretty obscure stuff, and they'll put it up. But anyway, good. Congrats to him. That was a good one. Bear got a little sick, a lot sick, was under the weather, couldn't do it. Dan was calling in on the phone, but it was a great show. I was impressed. Dean knows a lot about season-long football. I don't know season-long football anymore. I live in the now. I live in the DFS world. So with that, thank you everybody for your patience. We'll get the site up and running, and it will be a pristine, sterling ride.
Caffeine pills. Caffeine pills. You have to answer the question before we leave.
Oh,
sorry.
What question?
Favorite Saved by the Bell episode.
There's only I like the one where Jesse Spano hitchhikes to Vegas to become a dancer. That was a good episode. That was a long episode. Oh wait, that was a different movie. Showgirls. I'm not going there.
I didn't know what you were talking about earlier, but I knew what you were talking about here. Yeah, go figure.
It's the Jesse Spano one, the I'm so excited, the overacting. Or I like the one where AC Slater is the sports hero and saves the day for the school, which is about 5 different episodes.
I can't pin down which one you're talking about, but yeah. All right, sorry to interrupt. You're signing off for us.
All right. Well, see, we got all day. We got nothing to do. We're just gonna go back and go to work here and do all the fun stuff, like cleaning up behind the scenes. So with that, gamers, get out there in some games. Good luck.